Alright, first things first that you're going to do is the rice. You can always heat this up later on, and it stays warm for quite a while. I'm going to show you a trick that I learned from my mother-in-law, who's from the Philippines. You're not going to get minute rice or anything like that. Jasmine rice, super, super important. And another thing you want to do with your rice is make sure you rinse the absolute ever-loving shit out of it. Do not measure the rice. You want to use at least 2 cups. This could be anything over 2 cups. I'm not going to measure it, but I am going to rinse it off a lot. So. This then is the trick, because I said there is no measurement to the rice. I'm going to start putting water in my pan. What I'm looking for here is impurities and weird stuff to come floating to the surface. You see there's not a whole ton of starch in my water, but I'm looking for any black stuff that might be floating around. Could have done a little better job. Yeah, the water is pretty clear, that was just bubbles. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. The trick is to get the water up to the level where once you tilt the pan and the rice remains level, that the edge of your water reaches the lip of the pan and the very edge of the rice. So here I'm at the lip of the pan, not quite there. A little bit more. Right about there, and maybe a little bit more water. You gotta dump some out too, that's fine. And our rice is still even in the pan, it's not tilted. Right at the lip of the pan and right at the edge of the rice. Perfect. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna hit that with high heat and hit it with a little bit of salt. Not the shit stuff in the can, the good stuff. Cover that up. Wait for it to boil. Keep a close eye on it. Once you see the rice just starting to boil, and I'm talking about just starting to have the bubbles roll up, you can just see this happening right now. It'll actually, the very minute you see that, I want you to turn your heat down to like a simmer. Shush! Sorry about that shit. What's going to happen now is the water will disappear. I wish this was a gas stove. If it was a gas stove, once I turn the heat down, the heat would actually turn down, but the surface is hot. I have to keep an eye on this because it will bubble up and start lifting my lid, so I got to keep an eye on it. Once this boils, turn it down to a simmer, and you're going to wait for the water to disappear. It'll just look like shiny rice inside of it. Then your rice will be perfect. No measuring, no messing around with ratios or any of that crap. Just perfect, fragrant jasmine rice. Alright, here we are. I probably should have timed it, but I didn't. But just like I didn't measure the rice or the water, I'm looking for the rice to be... Bring it on in here. Bring it on. Oh my god. There's no water on top of the rice. You can see all the little boil holes. That's what she said. But if you look at how fluffy and perfect this... Oh. Alright, I've got my pan decently hot. You want to hit this with a little bit of olive oil, just enough to maybe cover the bottom. Not a whole lot more than that. Every kitchen should have olive oil, extra virgin. Coat the bottom of the pan, oops, and we're going to saute the mushrooms that we bought and then sliced, because we're not going to buy sliced mushrooms because we're civilized people. Get those coated quick, and what I want to do for sure is hit that with a little bit of salt. Coarse, crushed rock salt. None of this shaker crap. The salt is going to render some of the water out of those mushrooms. We're going to let those lamp for a little bit. Alright, it's been a couple minutes. My mushrooms are getting down. Got a nice little mushroomy liquid in there. We're not going to strain any of this out. We're going to keep it because it's awesome. And can we just real quick talk about how fluffy and sexy this rice turns? Look at this. I mean, that is just ridiculous. It's just perfect. And you don't have to measure anything. I was actually going to do another video about the rice, but I just figured I'd incorporate it here. You can pour this chicken a la king over rice, egg noodles, biscuits, even though biscuits are absolutely horribly gross. I'm going to eat some of this. Alright. I'm going to put these in a bowl, set them aside, and we're just going to go right into all of it. So you want to have everything ready. I'll show you that quick. Your chicken should be ready to go. You're going to use a 1/4 cup of butter, which is a 1/2 stick. Plop it right in there. Once that's melted down, we're going to make a roux with some flour. I'm going to use, like I said, the same pan. I just want everything to kind of marry up and get happy. Just another quick tip, when you use your chicken stock here, a nice tip is to give it a good shake before you open it up. A lot of times, and you can see it on there right now, you get this ring of congealed kind of chicken fat on there. You don't want that. So I just give it a real good shake before I open it up, and then that way it's ready to go. So I already have sitting here my 1/2 cup of flour ready to go, and for this part I'm going to use a whisk. This part's going to go fast, so it's a good idea to have your milk and your flour ready to go. Here's my cup of milk, here's my flour and my whisk. I'm not a professional, obviously. This never happens, but it's because I'm cooking, making a video for, I don't know, was it 25,000 people? Once this is down and mixed together and you got all the flour off the side of the pan, start hitting it with your chicken broth. Don't dump it in all at once. Once you get the milk in here, you're not going to be able to tell where or if you have lumps. Just because I'm neurotic, I'll hit this with a spatula. Here I have my chicken that I cut up earlier. I'm going to have that ready to rock. Just want to make sure there's no lumps in this at all. I'm going to turn up my heat a little bit because I want to get this good and hot. I'm going to want it to be boiling here in a second. I'm going to add my mushrooms right back in here. Mix those up. I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken. usually not this clumsy. Oh, I almost forgot. I need beer for this.
Let's go drink some beer!
Once this starts getting hotter and starting to bubble a little bit, I'm going to switch to my wooden flat spoon. Thickening up super nice. Got everything off the sides. I'm really happy with that. The last thing I'm going to put in this thing is just a fistful of steamer vegetables in a bag. They're like 79 cents at the store. I don't like the fact that it's got lima beans in it, but it's just for color anyways. You don't have to sit there and chop crap up all day long. Just throw it in there for some color and march on. And this is about done. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and plate this. Here's some of that super fluffy, sexy rice that turned out perfectly. It's really impossible to screw up the rice, and the only reason I threw that in the tutorial is because I prefer rice. I think biscuits suck. Egg noodles kind of got old. Ooh, puff pastry would be really good, but I'm not talented enough for that. Put it in here, check this out. Got my heat turned way down. This is thickened up beautifully. And that is from scratch chicken a la king. It did not take long, it cost next to nothing, and it is delicious. I really hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope we all survive this stupid virus. Drink beer.